I will be speaking to Mr. Nyang Njie, commentator. KMC has been the place to talk about these days. Really, Mr. Njie, interesting.
Well, thank you so much. Good evening, viewers.
Yes.
Quite right. It's interesting and interesting times for the Gambia.
What do you read in terms of all of the events and everything that has happened?
Well, I'm looking at it from three different perspectives. One is my yearning for a constitution, a new one. Because we all realize these are the relics. The Local Government Act, as it is a relic of the Jammeh days. Number one, the mayor is an elected official. Mm-hmm. Elected officials are accountable to the electorate, the very people who elect them. Mm-hmm. So therefore, if someone steals or does whatever, and the mayor decides to take a course of action that is within the remit of the law, I think that is good because people will hold him accountable through the ballot. But if a third party has to come in and want to intervene in the process, it's taking away, as far as I'm concerned, the right of the electorate. Because we went out to vote and we have what you call key performance indicators that we are looking for the public officials we put in office. Yes. And having someone to circumvent what the mayor wants to do will take away from his performance. That's number one. Number two, devolution of power is something that we have been calling for since the days of Jammeh, meaning governing bottom up. That means empowering municipalities and local governments. And as it is today, our local governments are not empowered. You look at Banjul City Council, you look at the KMC, a lot of things they want to do, they have to go to the ministry. That is wrong. We want power to rest at the lowest levels of governance, i.e. at the local level. And lastly, one thing has come to mind. You see, we have a collective responsibility, but we have individual accountability. And this government, I'm sorry to say, I don't think they have their priorities right in relation to fighting corruption. The bottom line, this lady has self-confessed publicly. I think the first thing that should have happened is for her to be on the sideline, and if anyone wants to interview her as far as getting the facts, allow her, access, but she should not be coming to work on a daily basis. And I think that is rewarding bad behavior. And honestly, what happened yesterday is an affront and a mockery of good governance. Also, the PIU. I've heard what the spokesperson of the police said. I'm sorry to say, with all due respect, that is flimsy. Probable cause is like a dirty drawers. You cannot say credible intelligence. With the credible intelligence he is talking about, when he went there was no resistance. People just stood their ground because they felt like their rights were being violated. So where is the probable cause that is the credible intelligence he had? I don't see it. And public trust.
Don't you think probable cause could have been the CEO attempting to enter the council, and you have council police who are right there at the gate who might block her, and there could be, the CEO also had people with her, so there could be
in such an instance
a scuffle.
In such an instant, the police is dealing with an institution, KMC. Accord them the dignity and respect to say, gentlemen, we are coming in today and all we're trying to do is to maintain peace. Therefore, our men will be here present to make sure there is a smooth passage for whoever is to come in. But if you come unannounced, it looks hostile. And what it looks and smells is still a rat. That's how people look at things. So as far as I'm concerned, if the police had good intent, their action has shown otherwise. And it's reminiscent of the days of Yahya Jammeh, and Gambians will do whatever it takes to see that this country doesn't go back there. So,
and the mayor was saying there was this pushing and shoving. The Fatu network could not independently verify that, but the mayor said this too.
That there was a pushing and shoving?
Among the police.
Well, I think
the PIU and the KMC police.
Well, you see, there's two different forces there. The PIU being municipal police, the KMC police being municipal police, and the PIU being national police officers. So I think what has gone wrong here is communication. And whose fault? I will solely and squarely blame the police. They have clearly stated that this was a move initiated by the police. So we have excused the executive. Now, let the police bear the brunt that they have done a snafu. And the snafu is they didn't communicate with the people responsible for KMC to make sure that there will be no escalation of hostilities. But the manner in which they came unannounced was cause for provocation.
Now, you said the laws are a relic of the former government. Now, I mean, if you look at the law, I tried talking to a number of lawyers, and the law as it is empowers the local government, of course, through the Local Government Service Commission, to fire and hire. The mayor and his council have no such powers, yet they interdicted the woman, and that is where the problem lies.
Well,
what do you say to that?
A bad law. Martin Luther once said, Martin Luther King, peace be on him, he said a bad law should be disobeyed in a pacifist way. I think if a mayor is elected overwhelmingly by a municipality, the decisions to run that municipality wholly and squarely must rest on him or her. The reason why I say it's a bad law, the intent that Jammeh had when he came up with the law the way it is today was to take powers away from local authority and centralize it within the executive, i.e. Ministry of Local Government. We are saying, gone are those days, and this is the shameful act of us not working to have a new constitution, or even repealing some of the things that we believe are hindrance towards our democratization process, and also empowering the citizens of this country, and also making people accountable. How can we hold the mayor accountable if some of the tools he has to enforce and make his municipality better are taken and he has to go and ask permission? Those people are not elected officials. They are not answerable to the people and electorate of KMC. And this is a moral issue that the government must look into. Why is it a moral issue? An elected official is responsible to the electorate. Now, we know that there are decisions that will be taken outside the scope of the person we elect in office. That, to me, is not good governance.
Now, if you look at KMC, this corruption scandal, really, it's quite scandalous. You look at the issue of the mayor swindling, or not the mayor, the CEO swindling $12 million. But also the mayor's side, the CEO is also saying the mayor and the deputy are also involved or engaged in corrupt practices. When the mayor came out initially, what he did was he stayed clearly away from all the rumors and everything that has been allegations that have been made by his deputy, somebody who he lavished space on, said there was somebody who worked really close with him and they had a very good relationship. He stayed away from that one, but yet he went ahead to bring all these charges against the CEO. What do you say to that?
Well, I'm not privy to everything that happened. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, I just want an investigation to go ahead, independent investigation, not an investigation led by the KMC, an independent investigation. And the reason why someone like me wanted the Minister of Local Government and his office to be out of it is to make sure that you have an independent body from them, so that when a report is out, any aggrieved party can now send a petition to the minister for review and consideration. But today, if the minister is part of the process of bringing in a report, it is difficult to send back a report that he has not only commissioned but endorsed for someone to say, I don't believe in this. So the best thing would have to have the police, the audit office, and any other party do a comprehensive report, hand it over to the minister for consideration, and action be taken thereon. I think that will be to the best interest of society and the municipality of KMC.
And what do you say to the issue of this whole issue being politicized. There is also so much partisan politics also at play. You can see from the side of the mayor comes from a party, right? UDP, he comes from a political party. Then you have the government side, and you have others on the other side who are saying this is NPP. The CEO is NPP. That is why they want her back at work.
Well, two things here. The mayor is an elected official, therefore he is a politician. So you cannot politicize the work of a politician. It's already politics. But the CEO is not a politician. He's an appointed official. What has happened in Gambia, and sadly so, the other day I saw a police officer on video. Within a political network, you know, it was wrong, because public servants must and should, because they're human beings and they're Gambians, they should have a political leaning, but this political leaning must not be made public, or they should not publicly be involved and engaged in political activity. This is what has disintegrated our public service, and this is what's making the mess within the system in the Gambia. The reason why yesterday people believe that what happened with the PIU was an instruction from somewhere, because for the longest of time, Gambians know that politics have been injected in law enforcement, i.e. the NIA or the police, because politicians have taken people there and politicians have used these offices to do their dirty bidding. So civil service reform is long overdue, and this tenure, Barrow's tenure, is done. Security sector review is long overdue, and his tenure is done. So the culture of yesterday still persists in today's Gambia, and we are yet to do a transformation from what was to what ought to be, based on the cravings and yearning of the Gambian.
Does that render any meaning or relevance to all this talk that President Adama Barrow wants to bring back dictatorship in this country?
President Adama Barrow unfortunately cannot bring back dictatorship in this country. With all due respect to Mr. President, the Gambia is ours. Dictators are not born, they are made. And I don't think Gambians have the appetite to make another dictator. It's a no, no, no. Not Adama Barrow, not anyone that's going to rule this country. Govern, sorry, not rule. We don't have rulers, we have people who govern us. Not anyone that's going to govern this country. Gone are those days, but guess what? There are tendencies, dictatorial tendencies, and sometimes the resistance. And yesterday is a classic case. When the PIU went there and they saw the resistance and the temperature of the people, there was a rollback. And that's how Gambians are going to preserve the gains they have made within their control. What we don't have control over are the much needed reforms we wanted this president to do, and he didn't. Security sector reform. And please, Mr. President, don't tell me it takes forever. It takes interest, devotion, dedication, and commitment, which is lacking. Combating corruption has become something that's non-existent. We believe corruption was somehow centralized during Jammeh days. It was very endemic, but in today's Gambia, corruption has been decentralized, and we haven't seen any punishment. I haven't seen anyone taken to court, from the fertilizer issue, from the drugs issue, you name it. So either there's an endorsement or there is an indifference. And it's up to the government to decide which of these two they find themselves as it relates to corruption in the country.
Mr. Nyang Njie, thank you very much, as usual, for coming up on the show. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Appreciate it. So, guys, well, I'm not sure whether I should use guys, but people, that will be it for the show today. It's not going to be very long. Now the approach is, we are not going to bore you with a lot of lengthy interviews. We want to keep it as short as possible, so that people can go on their normal whatever that they need to take care of. So we'll be back tomorrow. Until then, my name is Nyang Njie.
Thank you.